What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. And this morning, it was announced that JT Miller is going to be the next captain of the New York Rangers after starting his career with the Rangers, then heading to the Tampa Bay Lightning, Vancouver Canucks, and getting traded last year at the deadline. He is now the top dog in New York. Hopefully, there will be no quit in New York compared to last season. And I decided, based on now that we have 30 out of 32 captaincies, and David Pastrnak is most likely going to be the captain of the Boston Bruins, we're penciling that one in. Why not update the captain's tier list? I think I've done this like every single year. Once we roll into training camp and get some new captains, I don't expect the San Jose Sharks to name like Tyler Toffoli or Macklin Celebrini as their captain. So we're going to be going through 31 of the captaincies, assuming that David Pastrnak is that captain. So let's get into it. And when looking at it, we got superstar, star, elite, good / very good, and then solid. There's definitely some older guys that are just like depth players at this point, but they're great leaders. This is based on, of course, their on-ice play. I'm not in the goddamn locker room measuring their leadership qualities. So yeah, just how good of players they are. Although, of course, being a good player is not what it takes to be an overall great captain. We're just going on the ice stuff. We're starting off with Connor McDavid. Pretty easily a superstar, the best player in NHL. Has helped the Edmonton Oilers get to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals. Next up, Mr. JT. I'm going to go elite. Was point per game last year. Yes, he did have 103 points back in that 2024 season. With the Canucks, I think he's going to be like 80 to 90 points. Solid top 8 to 13 center in the NHL. Physical demon. Nick Suzuki, teetering on star and elite. I think he was within my top 30, so I think I'm going to go with the star. 89 points. Is one of the best players in the NHL. Post 4 Nations. Mikael Backlund is our first guy that's solid. He's like, on an actual competitive high-level team, he'd be a very good third-line center. In Calgary, he kind of has to act as that second-line center. But yeah, still very good defensively, but the offensive game is no longer quite, it was never like that special, but he was like around a 45 to 50-point guy. Now probably like mid-30s. Solid defensive numbers. Nothing against him. Probably a good captain, but not elite or anything. Quinn Hughes, that's a superstar player considering what he's done with the Vancouver Canucks the last 2 seasons, being a no doubt top 2 defenseman in the NHL the last 2 seasons. Maybe would have won the Norris last year if he was able to stay healthy. Sidney Crosby, still a star last year, yet again above a point per game. This year, probably more of the same. Goes without saying, also one of the best leaders in the entire NHL. Victor Hedman, still a solid number 1 defenseman. I have him in like that 8 to 12 range of defensemen in the NHL right now. No longer the defensive guy that he once was in his prime when he was the best defenseman in the NHL, but still can get you like 60 to 70 points and be solid defensively. So definitely still an elite guy. Stahl is still, again, one of the best defensive centers, similar to Backlund, but even better. Awesome defensively, but doesn't really offer much offensively. Maybe we'll move him up to good / good at the end. But yeah, a great third-line center for the Carolina Hurricanes. The only problem is Jesperi Kotkaniemi is their second-line center, so that kind of leaves their center problems. Jared Spurgeon, maybe no longer elite, still an analytical darling, and kind of has got passed up by Brock Faber in the depth chart, but I think he's as good as a Brock Faber. Yeah, still like a top 40 to 30 defenseman in the NHL. Very, very good both ways of the ice. Never had those gaudy point totals to get like the real respect, in my opinion. Probably the most underrated, like good player of the late 2010s. He did not get the respect that he deserved, and Garth Snow should have signed him after drafting him. I will never let him live that down. Rasmus Dahlin, yet again, last season proved that he's a star defenseman. This season, if Buffalo's somewhat competent, should be between like 70 to 75 points. Pretty straightforward. Brady Tkachuk, last year was a bit of a down year in terms of offensive production. I think he had like 55 points in 72 games or something like that. But come playoff time, he's an absolute terror. In his first playoff run, he was like near point per game. Yeah, I think him and Tim Stützle will have a better season this year, but I'm not quite sure he's a star top 30, top 25 player in the NHL. Although some people have him that high, I just don't see that unless you're really relying on the physicality, which again is important come playoff time, but I can't quite go to that star level. Dylan Larkin, consistent, 30-ish goals, 70 to 80 points, basically every single year, good defensively, a player that I'm a little bit higher on than most people, and he's still definitely elite. Nick Foligno actually has been pretty productive in Chicago the last 2 years. When I was doing the rebuild review, I was surprised that he had like 35 points, then like 37 points. So he's still an effective middle sixer, no longer the player. Remember when he had like 74 points in Columbus that one season, or even like a couple years back when he was like 45 to 50 points? But he's solid. He's definitely actually been worth his cap hit of like $4 million the last couple of years. Gabriel Landeskog's tough because we only saw 7 or not even 5 games out of him. He missed the first 2 games of the first round last year. I'm going to put him in good/very good. The guy has not played a regular season game in 3 years. Back in 2022, he was knocking on star, definitely an elite top line forward. But for now, we're going to go with good/very good until we see a full season of him. Nico Hischier, I could see an argument for him in star. Ooh, that's close. Him and Suzuki are close, but I think I'm going to go with elite right now. Point per game, very good defensively. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go with elite right now, but he'd probably be the next guy up. Definitely right now, the next guy up in that tier. Jamie Benn, this season was a pretty sizable fall off after he had that like out of nowhere high 60s point season, but he's still a solid depth forward. He signed for like the league minimum, but he has a bunch of bonuses. He should be around 35 to 40 points next year for the Dallas Stars. So we got Jordan Eberle. This year he had 26 points in 42 games. He's a solid second liner, good third liner, I would say. Not quite what he used to be on my New York Islanders or the Edmonton Oilers. So I think solid right now is a fair place. I'm going to get called biased for this. Anders Lee had 29 goals, 26 assists, 55 points last season on the New York Islanders, as well as very good analytics. So he was almost a 30-goal scorer. I am not being biased by putting him in good/very good. He definitely still has it. And this year, yet again, should be like 25 and 25. Power forward, 6'5" net front presence. I don't think that's a biased pick. I'm taking him over everybody in that bottom tier. Austin Matthews, if you watched yesterday's video, I'm very high on Austin Matthews heading into next season. Yes, last year was disappointing, but he was battling through injury, and even then he had like 78 points in 69 games and was like half a goal per game. So if that's the worst Austin Matthews, then this year he's going to take a step back up. Alexander Ovechkin, elite. Goal scoring was off the charts this season. I do think it's going to come back down to earth. Still doesn't play a lot of defense. Not a top 25 to 30 player, but definitely in like the 30 to 50 range. I'm going to get shat on for that, but I'm standing by it at this point. Still elite, still was within my top 50. Boone Jenner, he didn't play a lot this season, but he had 19 points in 26 games, as well as the prior season having 35 points in 55 games. A pretty solid two-way player. I think I'm going to go with good/very good. He needs to stay healthy, but yeah, he's been a veteran presence in Columbus the last couple of years and pretty damn effective. Braden Shen has kind of been regressing a little bit the last couple of years, although this year was a much better year on a more fun St. Louis team. I think I'm just going to go with solid, though. Anze Kopitar, elite, still gives you like 65 to 70 points. Very good defensively. He might retire at the end of the season, even though I could easily see this guy playing for another 3 to 4 years, just slowly moving down the lineup. So that would be a shame. But right now, yeah, he's going to go out on top as still like an elite, low-end first liner. Roman Josi, it's tough because he had pots this season. Go watch my Barry Trotz video. He only had 38 points in 55 games, but I think he's going to bounce back. Nashville's not going to be as dog shit this season, and as a result, he's probably going to be 65 to 70 points like he's been throughout basically his entire career since like 2015. Radko Gudas, good defensive defenseman. I'm going to put him in solid as of right now. Yeah. He's a good second pair defensive defenseman at the end of the day. Barkov, superstar, what he's done the last couple of seasons, especially in the playoffs. Back-to-back Selkies, arguably the best forward on the Florida Panthers last 2 years in the playoffs. He's earned that top 10 superstar status for sure. Adam Lowry, one of the best third-line centers in the NHL. I'm going to go with good. He's been around the half a point per game. Awesome defensively. Fortunately, he's hurt to start this season. But yeah, he's kind of a little underrated guy. Sean Couturier, although he's kind of forced into the number one center position, he's not. I'm going to still go with, is he better than the guys? Is he no doubt better than the guys in this tier? Yeah, because he's required to play tough minutes on Philadelphia. If he was on a different team playing on a second line center or playing on a third line center on an actual contender, he'd have way better analytics and so on. So I think he's still very good defensively. The offense has not quite recovered since his injury, but I'm going to go with good/very good. And then Pasternak still, again, has not been named the captain of the Boston Bruins, but just for tier list purposes, we're adding him. Definitely a superstar after yet another 100-point season. Clayton Keller, I'm going to go with elite as of right now. I could see star. I think Clayton Keller is going to be a beast this year. And then Mark Stone, star. I love me some Mark Stone. Maybe the best high-level defensive wing in the NHL. When looking at it, it's either like him or Mitch Marner, who are now playing on the same goddamn team. And although he doesn't play that much throughout the season, when he is healthy, he's like a 75-point Selke level guy. Here is the tier list in all its glory. Let me move myself out of the way. Look at that. It's tough with the bottom two tiers, man. I'm very confident in the top three tiers. The bottom two tiers are kind of a shit show. Actually, let me move some guys up. Clayton Keller, Nico Hischier, you're getting the bump. You're up to star, and here it is. People clicked off the video and already commenting mad stuff. How is Stone and star if Keller and Hischier are not? We're making changes. It's top 35 now. Get into star, and here we are. Let me know in the comments. What do you think about this video? What do you think about JT Miller being named captain? What do you think about me declaring David Pastrnak the Boston Bruins captain? I'll be seeing you in the next one. Peace.